And we're in there.
Yay!
Yo, what's up,
Hey
everybody?
everyone. Go for it, Sto.
Oh, my bad. What's up, everybody? It's another episode 15, Office Hours. I'm Big Sto, and Nora is that way this time.
Yeah, welcome to Office Hours. Sto and I do these every first and third Tuesday of the month, and we answer all your questions about the music industry and building a career as independent artists. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. I'm Nora. I'm a creative consultant. I help artists navigate the industry on their own terms without giving up their creative control, their financial freedom, their personal integrity, but also helping them use their platforms for social good. Sto, you're that way.
Yeah, there we go.
You want to introduce yourself?
What's up, everybody? Get a damn website. You already know what it is. Taste creators, always doing artist development stuff. Just making sure that you all understand that the power is in your hands as well. You don't got to give it to these labels and businesses and blah, blah, blah.
So a couple of kind of housekeeping things before we jump into today's topic. One, I want to acknowledge what's going on in Nigeria right now, where for a very, very long time, young people especially have been protesting SARS, which is essentially a specialized force of the Nigerian police force. And what they do is they stop people and harass people, and they have assaulted and harmed people. And today in particular, there was a peaceful protest in a part of Lagos called Lekki, which is, it's like Rodeo Drive. It's like, like Fifth Avenue. It's like a main part of the city.
Right.
And the Nigerian police military started shooting live ammunition at peaceful protesters, and people have been killed. And so I think it's important to acknowledge, we've talked a lot about Black Lives Matter, but I think it's important to acknowledge that our struggles are deeply interconnected. And
right.
Especially when we're talking about the way governments treat citizens, treat people. The UK is funding SARS. Governments give each other weapons. They're constantly training each other, right? Like the Israeli army trains the US army on how to treat its protesters. Like, it's not as separate as we think it is. And so I want to acknowledge and really I encourage folks, if you don't know, look through the hashtag #EndSARS, and there's a bunch of other #EndSARS immediately, and police brutality. I really encourage folks to really educate yourself about what's going on, but also think about what it looks like for you to take action, because this is not okay.
Right.
And so as we talk about burnout today, it's heavy on, and I have a very special relationship to Nigeria. I'm there a lot. Watching the scenes today and having very different experiences with what's happening there now. I can only imagine what folks in the diaspora are feeling. It's heavy, and I just want to acknowledge that for folks who are watching this. On a brighter note, Sto and I just did our Newsletters 101 workshop last week. So Sto, maybe you can touch on that real quick.
Yeah, we I
know it's a heavy transition. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. It's a heavy transition.
It's all good. Yeah, Thursday and Saturday, right? Yeah, we held a Newsletters 101 workshop, really helping people understand the importance of having a newsletter, and also how to keep one, or how to create one, and how to keep it going, how to be consistent with it, but also what content to create with it. It was a blast. It was extremely nerve-wracking. I'm not even going to pretend like I wasn't stressed leading up, but it was a lot of fun to have everyone in one room and to talk with everyone and to really work through the process of creating a newsletter. Because the thing is this, with everything I feel like that we talk about on here, it can be really intimidating to take it on. And especially when you combine all of it together, it's like, oh my goodness, like what am I even doing? But with the workshop and how we operate here at Office Hours, we really want to dissect it and make it easily accessible for everyone that watches us, just because all of you can succeed. We want to see everyone win. I know it's difficult. I know it's hard out here, but anyway, I'm getting off topic. The workshop was incredible. I had a blast. I don't know if you want to go over at least a part of the feedback now or whatever, but a lot of the people enjoyed the class, and yeah, we're hoping to keep it going and doing it again next year.
Yeah, definitely do it again early next year. I see a couple people are here with us. So hi, hello, and welcome. Please introduce yourself in the chat today. Let us know who you are and like, how are you feeling? I think one of the things for me that's come really clear this year, and I think this is a good tie into like our topic of burnout, is finding ways to work smarter, not harder. And I think for me, this stuff around, like, I think part of why I really wanted to push the newsletter thing was because it allows you to really maximize on work. So you don't have to worry about Instagram and algorithms and content calendar and like all that shit. That to me, at least, is like, those are things that drain me versus like, I can just send an email and engage with people. And so I think part of my self-care this year especially has been finding kind of systems and processes that allow me to work better or like maximize my time. Because I'm not here for the grind culture. I'm not here for, oh, I can sleep when I'm dead and like all that kind of nonsense that people say. Because I have to be honest, like I'm exhausted now. Like it's been a super, I've been dealing with some like misogynistic bullshit on this project I've been working on. It's emotionally draining. I'm exhausted. Yeah. And I hear you, Tanaja, who says, yeah, I feel like I'm working harder and not smarter. So maybe, I don't know, I feel like we're a little messy today, but this is part of the burnout, I think. So yeah, Sto, how have you been feeling? And like, what does burnout mean for you?
Right. I am exhausted. I'm so tired. I can't even put it into words. To be honest, obviously the year itself has just been extremely draining. I don't know, yo. I don't like feeling like this because it's like, I feel like once I've tackled one angle of something or one issue or whatever, another issue comes in and just like blindsides me or whatever. All the racial tensions and whatnot have obviously been hitting a high, and just, I don't know. It's weird, like not always feeling safe and stuff like that. So you couple that with like trying to survive and trying to pay these bills and like all this stuff. So yeah, I'm very tired. But at the same time, like I find solace, I guess, in all of us kind of coming together and being able to talk about it. And, you know, none of us are alone in this, genuinely. And I feel like stuff like this helps.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it is we work in an industry, in a culture that really prioritizes being busy and working and grinding. Ashley says, I'm feeling stressed, all caps from today, but glad to listen, y'all processing the same thing. So yeah, Ashley, we're glad to have you. I mean, I think part of it is we live in a culture, we work in an industry where it's all about like work, and whatever is happening personally or whatever is happening socially, we're expected to show up anyway. And I think especially for those of us who are entrepreneurs and freelancers, there's a very real pressure of, if I don't work, I might not get my paycheck.
Right.
It's different, I think, from like working in a company. And if you don't work and you slack off for a day, maybe your boss yells at you, but like you're still getting your salary. Versus for us, there's the feeling of like, if I don't work today, I might not have that income tomorrow. And so I think the first thing when we talk about, so one, I think those things, both like the physical push of it, but also the psychological pressure of it, contribute to the burnout and the feeling of like having to do a lot before you get a little bit back. There's a lot of like investment. There's a lot of front end work. There's a lot of relationship building, that for maybe every 10 new people you meet, maybe one of those turns into some kind of longer term relation. Like it's a lot of output for little input. And so I think for me, as I navigate my own relationship with like burnout and productivity, is understanding that I have to take care of myself first so that I have the energy to do the things that I need. And that in fact, taking care of myself, pausing, taking a break, taking a nap, getting rest, eating well, whatever that is, isn't not like, I think we think about things in terms of, am I working or am I not working? But thinking of things in terms of what's good for my collective success. And so my collective success is all of these things kind of intertwined together. Shout out to Mira who's joining us. It's always good to see you, sis. I don't know. So what works for you when you're starting to feel burnt out?
Crashing and burning horribly. No, I honestly, like, unfortunately, like, it's still something I'm trying to figure out. I every year this happens actually, where like towards the end I start to get very tired and just like not as, I mean, I'm always very motivated, but just like everything just seems like I'm moving in slow motion almost or something. And even slowing down and relaxing, like I just feel like my brain is always moving a million miles a minute. But I will say this, like, I think giving yourself permission to slow down and relax, I think helps. And it's still something I'm working on. But I think, like you said, we're bombarded with this work, grind. And there's so much work that has to be done that, or it feels like so much work has to be done that there is no time. It kind of like makes it feel like there is no time to slow down. But I honestly feel like that's how you end up being less productive, and that's how you end up not getting where you want to be, is when you push yourself so hard that you genuinely do end up crashing. And listen, I don't like getting too personal with things, but I'll just say I've had instances where I have worked so hard that it has had me in the hospital and sick and stuff like that. So it genuinely can catch up. I used to believe that there's no way, like if I work hard, as long as I'm, trying my best and like, resting a little bit, like I'll be okay. But it genuinely can catch up to you if you do not take care of yourself. So be wary of that.
Yeah. And look, I think part of it too is that the myth is, under capitalism, the myth is if all you do is work hard, you will be successful.
Right.
And what that's designed to do is get the maximum amount of productivity from you while giving you the least, right? Like in corporate spaces, we hear work hard, go above and beyond, and your boss will recognize you. But in reality, you're working hard, above and beyond, and like, what does it mean to get that recognition? And so that, I think the whole model is designed literally to suck us dry. And so I think to go back and say, you know what, I'm more important than my productivity, or right, my value is not based in my productivity. And then I think the other thing is that there's a definite emotional component to a lot of the work that we do. There's a lot of emotion. If all I had to do was think about like my clients and my newsletter and my webinar and office hours and culture fix, it'd be exhausting. But what honestly, what really drains me are interactions where I have to do emotional labor that I don't want to do, right? It's fighting the microaggressions. It's showing up in a meeting where the misogyny is like dumb heavy and I'm the only woman in the room and I have to call it out or address it. It's having to teach, it's that kind of stuff, right? It's having to navigate whether or not this client really wants to work or he's like trying to find a way to like holler or what, that's the extra work that really genuinely like, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I've been dealing with something on this project that I'm working on that happened 2 weeks ago, 2 Thursdays ago. And it took me out for the day. Like it fully took me out for the day. And then now here we are 2 weeks later and I'm still dealing with it. And the amount of time, emotional energy that I've put into it, it takes a toll, right? And I think there needs to be a space. And I think honestly, I think there's a lot of that happens in the music industry, especially. And then we feel powerless or we feel unsupported because unless you have a strong support system, where do you go to talk about those things? Where do you go to hold people accountable? Where do you go to say, hey, that was really fucked up? So like, what am I going to do? I tweet and I get affirmation and support that way. I like call up some friends who can like be like, yeah, Nora, that really sucks. But I think that's a real part of it for those of us as women, as queer folks, as non-binary folks, as people of color, like we're dealing with those kinds of microaggressions and extra work that other people don't have to do. And so I want to acknowledge that for folks who are watching this or who are here with us today about like that shit's real. That's real. And if you're more exhausted than usual, it makes sense because we're all doing all this extra work. And so I think as we talk about ways to like protect yourself, having those like strong support systems is really like having friends. Do you know what I mean? Like people that you can really call and be like, let me tell you the fucked up shit that just happened, where you can like process that with someone and being able to set boundaries where you are protecting yourself and knowing where to say no or how to stand up for yourself or, cause it's exhausting. I mean, that's all. I don't know. I think I'm venting. And so thank y'all for like letting me process some of this. I still, as I talk about what happened, I still like am really, really upset by it. And so, I mean, I guess you're seeing it play out in real life, right? That how this thing is taking up so much emotional energy. And it impacts the work that we do and it impacts the way that we show up. I don't know. I think I'm going in circles. So.
Yeah, listen, I feel like there's a billion things going on, not just outside, because I feel like we talk about that a lot, but I feel like interpersonally and in our, work relationships, I feel like there's that extra layer because you're not only dealing with like you've talked about, like just reciprocity in general, but you're also dealing with those same people that are dealing with those outside issues incorrectly. You know what I mean? And then they bring that into the workplace and it's just this huge snowball effect. And listen, everyone, I can't even pretend I'm a pro at dealing with all this stuff. This year's has gone by so fast and slow at the same time that I can't believe that it's October, but simultaneously can't believe it's only October. I feel like we should be 20 years in the future or something like that. And so I guess my whole thing is don't be afraid to, like I said before, like slow down and relax. But I know it sounds strange, but like, don't be afraid to treat yourself as well. like, I feel like we're all working so hard and grinding so hard. And I feel like at the end of the day, we just feel tired. Like there's nothing wrong with rewarding yourself and you know, I know we're supposed to be saving up and oh no, the world's burning. But listen, if you want to go buy yourself something, that's what I'm about to do as soon as I hop off this thing. Like there's nothing wrong with treating yourself and relaxing, watching something you enjoy. I feel like hopping on the internet, especially nowadays, I've seen so much like, oh, if you're just sitting around, what are you doing? It's like, yo, I'm trying to rest. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to not burn out. Everything, and it's not even November yet. The election hasn't even happened yet. So there's a whole nother layer, I feel like, of just stress and all this other stuff incoming that there's nothing wrong with taking time off. I guess that's what I'm getting at. There's nothing wrong with taking time off. And I guess I'm speaking to myself in this matter as well. But still, I have seen a lot of people just like, oh, I gotta work. Like, yo, no, slow it down. Drink some damn water. Eat. Make sure you're eating and stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I think what's important too is to make sure, like, the same activity can either be restorative or it can just be like a hold or like a distraction. And so you want to think about, if I see Serial Sensei is like, take a day off, be happy, lazy, and eat ice cream. If that's the thing that makes you feel good and restores you, do that. But if spending all day on Netflix is making you more stressed out, then maybe that's not the solution to the thing that you're struggling with, right? If buying yourself something is an act of self-love and it's a way that you're like celebrating yourself, that's awesome. But if online shopping is something you do mindlessly to distract yourself from the other things, maybe that's actually not the kind of self-care that you need. Right. And so part of it, as we talk about avoiding burnout, is to really get in touch with yourself about, what am I struggling with? Where are the places where I feel like weak? And so what do I need to buttress that? And so it's not going to be the same for everybody. It's not going to be the same thing for you every day at the same time. One thing that I think is really important is we often leave self-care as an afterthought. We work until we hit burnout. And then we work backwards around like, oh, how am I going to make myself feel better? But I know a lot of you plan your, we talk about this all the time, like plan your day, you schedule your meetings, you have your appointments. And so you want to incorporate self-care into your daily routine the same way you do going to the gym, or the same way you do running air, whatever, like all the things that, meeting with clients, meeting with your like engineer. You want to plan for it, and then you want to treat it just as importantly as you do all that other stuff. Because if we approach self-care and burnout from a preventative standpoint, it's a lot easy to like keep it going than if we approach it as an intervention standpoint, right? If you're like empty, it's so much more to fill you up than if you're full and you're trying to like stay full. And so, as we talk about, like, as I said earlier, like, I want y'all to work smarter, not harder. And this is one way to work smarter, not harder, is to plan for self-care and give yourself like a weekly appointment time, or block off time in your schedule that you don't work with anyone else. And that's your time. Because I know for myself, if I wait until I'm already burnt out, the recovery takes twice as long.
Absolutely. I can attest to that by personal experience. Absolutely.
Any other things? Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
No, all I was going to say is just rest is also part of that. Obviously, like relaxing and, doing things that you enjoy is one piece, but genuine actual rest is part of it. I'm not, as an insomniac, I have trouble sleeping and stuff like that, but just getting time to just rest is important. And like Nora said, don't wait till you burn out to get rest, because it will take longer. It does take longer, because it's almost. What's up?
No, I just want to plug the Ministry of Naps. If you don't follow them on Instagram and Twitter, you 100% should. Their whole, and this is not paid promo or anything like, but they put out really amazing content around how important it is to take naps, and napping as like political resistance, and napping as a counter to all the things that we've been taught about how we should be, and all that kind of stuff. And so if you're ever feeling like, oh, I should work instead of rest, just scroll through their page or check out their Twitter, because Ministry of Nap does some really, really amazing things. There's some really good comments in here that I want to make sure we highlight. Yeah. Amira says, I'm also learning that it's okay to outsource things and also be okay with saying no. I want to, oh, thanks, Nat. Hold on. Natalie, so that's their Instagram, the Nap Ministry, if you want to check them out. Okay, I want to bring back Amira's comment about both of these. One is to say no, like give yourself permission to say no to things, trust in your abundance, more things will come. But also ask for help. Ask other people to do things for you. I know for me, that's been one of the biggest things I've learned this year is asking for help. When people say, what do you need? I'll tell them rather than being like, oh no, I'm fine. I got it, which is like my usual go-to. And also if you can, to invest in regular help, whether that's like outsourcing to a freelancer or hiring a VA or some kind of ways that allow you, again, to work smarter, right? These are all ways that you can invest in your business so that you're not having to work as hard. So Amira, I really appreciate you bringing that up. I also want to highlight what Serial Sensei is saying about how important it is to never feel guilty about taking the day off from your 9 to 5. Which again, this is the capitalistic, like work hard for other people and then go home and be exhausted. Like in what world is that actually the way we want to do things, where they make you feel bad for using sick days that are yours to use, right? That make you feel bad for using vacation days that are yours to use. And so I appreciate you for mentioning that as well. A lot of it, I think, when we talk about avoiding burnout is unlearning these things that we've learned about like grind culture and work hard and like all this kind of stuff, which in the end, actually, I think we realize is often detrimental to us.
Right. No, I absolutely agree. Yeah, I don't know. I think again, resting, eating, getting your water, and just, oh, and here's the other thing. I didn't get a chance to mention this. Like, I know it's hard these days, but find a way to maybe like close your social media apps at some point throughout the day. Doom scrolling is a thing, and especially now where it's like I can't front. Almost every time I open my phone onto social media, either something awful is happening that makes me super sad, or I'm receiving some criticism that I didn't even realize I was gonna get when I was scrolling through my timeline today, or any plethora of issues. So it's like, take some time away from your phone and to just exist. Like, it sounds strange, it sounds weird, but it helps, because if you're just on your phone all the time, you're gonna lose your mind. And tinfoil hat time, I feel like that's part of it too. So put the phone down for a bit and just let yourself be.
Yeah. I would, on a kind of practical tip, like make a list of 3, 4, 5 people that you can call when you do start to feel burnt out, that you can call and that they're going to hold that space for you. Sometimes when you're in it, it's hard to be like, well, no one wants to hear my problems. So definitely like have that list so you don't even have to think about it.
Right.
Make a list of things that always make you feel good, or make a happy playlist for yourself. Or the more you make it, because sometimes I think to go from the inaction to the action that makes you feel better takes a lot of effort. Like, I know if I get up and go for a run, it'll boost my endorphins, but the act of getting up is just so overwhelming. And so if you can create little like hacks and shortcuts for yourself of things that'll make it easier for you to do the things you want to do, just go to the list, pick something on the list, do the thing on the list. It tricks your brain into doing things it doesn't want to do. And I think a lot of us are so conditioned to choose work over self-care, choose work over our own well-being, that we have to trick it into looking out for ourselves. I will also offer that if you are really, really struggling, there's a ton of low-cost, really good mental health services out there. And if you're ever unsure of how to find it, please reach out to me and I will help you find mental health services in your city. You can always DM me, tweet at me, whatever, and I'll help you find those resources, because it's a lot of shit going on and we all need someone that we can process with. I will make an ask of y'all. You know, Sto and I do this for love and because we care about y'all. So if you ever want to support our work, Venmo or Cash App me at Nora Rahimian, put a little note that it's office hours. And it goes to like helping us pay for eventually when we get our website, and things like that, just to support the work that Sto and I do. Yeah, I feel like we've been all over the place today, but that's okay. I mean, I think this is part of it. I think we're role modeling what we do, that sometimes you're burnt out and you show up and you say, hey, y'all, I'm just burnt out today. I'm tired. So it's not going to be as good as it always is. It's going to be a little sloppy, and thank you for showing up for us anyway.
Right.
And that's okay. Like, look, the world didn't fall apart, right? Like, we're still here. So any final words on your end?
Honestly, everyone, I can't stress enough to just take care of yourself and try to be nice to yourself. It's so easy to get wrapped up in everything that's going on, and I don't know, wrapped up in people's opinions that you don't even know and stuff like that. You know, take time genuinely for yourself. We need you here. And you know, if you're burnt out and tired, it is impossible to do your absolute best. So take care of yourself, try to get as much rest as you possibly can, and do something that you enjoy. You deserve that, period.
Yeah. And we want you here. We love you. We care about you. So thank y'all for hanging out with us today. If at any point you're watching this afterwards, and you have questions, please drop those in the comments. Sto and I will always answer them. If you have not yet, subscribe, hit the subscribe button wherever that is. Cree Speaks Media says, I appreciate y'all speaking on real topics. Thank you. We always appreciate the support and the feedback, because it's scary. I'm not going to lie. It's scary. It's scary to get up here and talk about these things. I feel mad vulnerable. Right. But I appreciate the community and the way y'all show up for us all the time. Next week, we're talking about arts and activism, because it's not next week. Sorry, 2 weeks from now. Next episode, we're talking about arts and activism and impact, because it'll be election day in the U.S. and who knows what will happen then.
Oh, sorry, I almost threw up.
But all the more reason, right, to take care of yourself and take care of your community and take care of each other. So send us your questions. As always, Sto and I are here for one-on-one support and consulting. I'm so glad. Dan says this episode came at a good time. Thanks for all y'all do. I'm so glad it resonated. We will see you all two Tuesdays from now.
November 3rd, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. November 3rd. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Peace, everyone.